Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the East Brandywine Township Board of Supervisors meeting for Thursday, June 6, 2024. Just a reminder, a recording device will be used during this meeting. We're going to start the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we're going to start the meeting out today with the public comment for agenda items, if there are any. Seeing none, we're going to move on to the minutes of the previous meeting for the approval of the, well, I'll turn it over to you for the approval.
Okay, I make a motion to approve the minutes of the May 16th meeting of the Board of Supervisors.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, treasurer's report and the authorization to pay bills.
I actually reviewed the treasurer's report and the check disbursements, and I'll make a motion to approve the treasurer's report and authorize to pay the bills and approve the payroll.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, new business. We'll turn it over for the Downingtown Library new director introduction.
Hello, good morning, everyone. I'm
Morning.
Jasmine Smith. I'm the new director at the Downingtown Library. I want to tell you all about what we are doing at the library to serve the constituents of East Brandywine. As you can see from your fast fact sheet, East Brandywine has the second highest number of checkouts by township, so we see a lot of activity from the residents here. We have lots of programs all year round to serve the needs of the community. So for our preschool children, we have 9 or more story times every week, plus special guests like Mr. Brandt coming in to talk about STEM and beavers this month, or box turtles. Kids love those kind of story time activities. We also have teen programs, and we have plenty of adult programs as well. Some of those are on-site. Sometimes we make special trips like a hike in Marsh Creek to learn all about the mobsters that used to be there. So we have lots of different activities to appeal to all different kinds of people. We also connect people with civic, medical, financial literacy engagement. So we had a program recently on how to go about purchasing a home. We've had programs on writing resumes. We have a representative from Representative Friel Otten's office come every month, and people come to talk to them about all kinds of municipal questions, get SEPTA passes, all of that sort of thing. So that's available at the library as well. You can also see, this is from this year's legislative breakfast booklet, gives you a little bit of information about the population that we serve, which is about 45,000 people. We circulated over 200,000 items last year. So whether or not you've heard that print is dead at the Downingtown Library, that's not true. We have people checking things in and out constantly. I was at the desk on Friday afternoon, and every time I turned around, I was thinking, how did they sneak so much into the check-in bin in the last 10 minutes? So it is constant in our building. On Saturday, we kick off summer reading. So I've got a couple of sheets for summer reading there for you. Summer reading is for adults, kids, and teens. So our kids this year will be reading their way through the solar system. They will accumulate minutes of reading, whether alone or being read to. And we have various prizes and raffles that they can participate in as they work on their reading skills and making sure that they stay connected to school throughout the summer. Part of what the library does is help students avoid the summer slump, keep them connected to engaging literacy and keeping their brains active, even while they're off school for the year. You can all participate in summer reading as well as an adult. We are going to be trying the Beanstack app this summer, which is an app you can put on your phone or your laptop, and basically as you finish a book, you'll click a tile and you can digitally enter one of our raffles. So you win prizes for reading books, which is fun, especially if you already have a couple of beach reads planned. You can get a little bonus there. And for teens, they will have a sort of bingo sheet that has different activities on it. So they may get a bingo by reading outside, finishing a historical fiction book, maybe a free space, and then 2 other reading-related activities. So we get teens engaged with the library as well, and we also offer teens the opportunity to volunteer. So we'll have teen volunteers helping with summer reading, and we've engineered that so that those teens will be able to get 40 hours of volunteering time, so that if that's a graduation requirement for them, they are meeting that requirement and progressing in school, as well as developing soft skills like working with people, answering questions, being able to help people when they have challenges or need help registering for summer reading. Are there any questions about the library? Has everybody been to our library? Yeah, I mean, it's a great library. It's kind of a medium size, you know. We are, with the incredible usage that we have in the next several years, we have our eye on expansion. I know that this township is expanding pretty rapidly, so part of that expansion is to meet the growing needs of the communities who use the library. But also we are looking to do things like expand our program space. Currently, we can only fit about 15 kids per story time, and every single one books up each month. So we would love to be able to bring in more kids, especially in our story taught 1.5 to 2.5 year age bracket. But to do that, we would need more space to be able to fit them, especially because they need to come with parents. So that room gets crowded pretty quickly. So that's what we have our eye on the horizon. And if there aren't any other questions, it's been a pleasure to meet you all, tell you about what we're doing at the library, and please come check us out and sign up for summer reading if you're interested.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if I could.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, when did you join the library?
I joined the library in February, so
In
I'm a little
February.
bit past 3 months.
Okay, so as you go around and introduce to municipalities, I think one thing that, just by way of introduction to us in our process, the township is proud to support the library.
Yes.
We have a budget committee. The budget committee has a process that they begin in July, and they usually start soliciting and receiving budget requests in August.
Okay.
If you could make a mental note to have this material and the financials and request for the next year's funding in August for our budget committee, I would greatly appreciate it.
Certainly, yes. Is there anything particular specifically that you would like to see at that point in addition to this kind of information?
Summary financials. What are other communities contributing? What is the ask? And what is the rationale for the ask?
Okay.
Is it circulation? Is it total population? Just an explanation of what the ask is.
We can do that.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm going to turn it over to Matt Van Loo now for the award of the 2024 road project contract.
Thank you. We've received 5 bids for our 2024 road project. The project includes repair and overlay of all the roads within the Cross Keys development. The lowest bid was received from Innovative Construction Services Incorporated for $741,385. A portion of that is for work that's to be done within the community park on some trails. And I respectfully request the supervisors accept the bid from Innovative Construction Services Incorporated for $741,385.
Anybody have any questions in the audience or in the board?
Where's Innovative Construction located?
I'm not sure, let me see if I have that information.
Is that a different contractor than last year?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just about every year, we do have different contractors. The same ones bid, but oftentimes it's a different contractor that,
I want to say Miko last year, and I know we've done Alan Myers in the past.
yes. Holcroft, PA.
And
So don't, okay.
I have another question. The roads included in the bid package, were they similar to what you had in your road report, your long-term road report that you prepared last year?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So we're not
The only addition would be the work within the park, and that would come out of the.
Right, and that was a pretty minor amount.
Yeah, it's not very much.
Okay, but it does include all the roads that were listed in your,
Correct. And next year is Tunbridge is planned.
that's why I'm asking, because I'm asked every day. Okay.
Okay, do I have an approval?
I'll make a motion to accept the low bidder for the 2024 road project.
And I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Matt, why don't you just go back on and finish yours with the truck sale?
Okay. So we listed the 2005 Freightliner on Municipid, and I'm not exactly sure how many. There were like 27 bids, so each time the bid number goes up. But a municipality from Washington Township in Snyder County were the highest bid. It was $18,800 for the 20-year-old truck, and they're ready to put it in service in their community, so.
So as it relates to the second-class township code, selling property to another municipality does not require such a vote, but as a general rule, the conveying of property worth more than $500 requires a vote of the Board of Supervisors, so it appears on your agenda. I think that the action item would be authorizing staff to convey the, what was it, the 2005?
Yes.
The 2005 truck.
I'll make a motion to complete the sale to Washington Township and Snyder County of our 2005 road truck.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Matt. All right, Matt, Luke, if you want to go on. Actually, we're going to table the municipal authority employee lease agreement. I think there's still some questions on that before we get to that point, so that item will be tabled today. I'll turn it over to Chief for the resignation of Officer Danny Miller.
Good morning. I just want to officially announce to the Board of Supervisors and our township residents that Officer Danny Miller has submitted his resignation from the police department effective Tuesday, June 11th, 2024. And Danny has been in the testing process with Limerick Township Police Department of Montgomery County, and he recently was offered a position of which he accepted. Danny was hired by East Brandywine Township in 2019, and he was one of our first aid instructors, field training officers, and accident reconstruction technicians. It goes without saying that during his 5 years with us, he was an exemplary officer. We're all very sad to see Danny go, but we also wish him the best of luck with his new opportunity at Limerick PD.
Thank you, Chief. All right, Luke, I'm going to turn it over to you for Park and Rec event sponsor.
Thank you. Parks and Rec hosts a number of events each calendar year, and there's a basic split between the two types of events they host. They'll host 3 concerts in the park that are free to the public, and 3 movies in the park that are free to the public. They'll host a holiday tree lighting and a fall festival. Those events are paid for from the township's general fund, and they are events that operate at a loss. Any revenues associated with them are less than the expenditures. These are events that the township hosts for the public. I want to contrast this with another type of event they host, which is intentionally a fundraiser. Historically, the 5K race and in the current year, the golf outing were events that raise more money than they cost to put on. The way that we account for such things is those events that are intentionally a fundraiser, the funds go into the township's foundation, and the expenses come out of the foundation. And the net difference in fundraising versus costs of the event are retained in the foundation for those capital improvement goals specified by Parks and Rec. In this case, they had they're wrapping up one capital improvement goal, which was the construction of a bathroom, and about to move on to their next, which is the replacement of Phase 2 playground equipment with all-inclusive playground equipment. So that leads me to why the agenda item, and it's good news. Parks and Recreation has identified a sponsor, Mainline Health, who would like to sponsor events that are ordinarily not events that raise more than they cost. The question is, what should be done with the sponsorship money? Should it be deposited into the general fund, since that's where the expenses come from, or should it be deposited to the foundation where it can be held in reserve for their next project, which, as I mentioned, was the playground equipment? I think an argument can be made either way. Parks and Recreation is asking that the contribution from Mainline Health in the amount of $4,000 be deposited to the township's foundation and not the general fund. I don't feel I have the spending authority to make a determination, so I asked for it to be an agenda item on your agenda today.
Thank you. Does anybody in the audience or on the board have any questions regarding this?
Do you want to discuss it at all? I was made aware of this, so I have had some time to look at it. The whole purpose of the Sound Foundation was to accept gifts. A sponsorship is a form of a gift. I think the money should not go to the general fund because the expenses for Park and Rec would be there whether we had revenue or not. So the money is a general donation. They want to apply it to the new playground equipment, which is going to cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. I say it goes into the foundation. That also secures for Mainline Health an absolute deductible contribution.
Sense.
By putting it into the foundation, it's earmarked that can only be spent by Park and Rec. I would even say Park and Rec for the playground equipment.
Anybody else? Like to make a motion with your
I'll make a motion that upon receiving the donation from Mainline Health, that it be recognized as a deposit in East Brandywine Township Foundation and be designated for use of purchase of playground equipment.
Second?
I'll second.
In favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, there is no subdivision and zoning applications today. I'm going to turn it over to Chief again for peddling and solicitation amendment.
So it is that season again, solicitation in the township. During the process this year, we realized that there was a disconnect between our process, paperwork that we were handing out, and the ordinance. So we have two requests that are minor in nature. One is under section 186-2, the application for license fee renewal. We just would like that to be amended to say to the East Brandywine Township Police Secretary and not the Township Secretary. The Township Secretary doesn't have anything to do with the applications. That needed to be amended. H2 under section 186-3 conduct. This was discussed a few years ago, and somehow it ended up on the application, but it never made its way to the ordinance. And that is section G that was to be added, saying the permit holder shall not solicit in communities posted against solicitation. Violations will automatically void the issued permit. I had numerous complaints from Applecross Hideaway of solicitors going into those communities when they are posted no solicitation. And this year alone, we've cited 3 people already violating that. But we realized, going back over the ordinance when the officers were going to write the citations, that section was missing in the ordinance. Shows on the application, and the solicitors are notified of that on the application, but we realized there was a disconnect between us being able to cite them. So we would just ask that the board consider adding that section, so that we can properly cite.
Chief, can I make a suggestion? I don't even know how this would be handled. I was in a large neighborhood that's one of those non-soliciting neighborhoods. You had posted on Facebook or the police website that there was permits issued for this particular group. What I witnessed this particular day about 2 weeks ago was a van pulled up with, I would say, 8 to 10 high school to college kids and dropped them off at every corner. Now, I understand 3 citations were issued, but in my opinion, it should be the ringleader, the permit puller versus the little 16, 17-year-old kid who's just getting dropped off on the street. How do we handle that versus, I know that, you know, that minor may not have even seen the permit pulled or the paperwork associated to it and just gets dropped off by the ringleader, and then all of a sudden, he's the one getting the citation.
Right, so we have had solicitors in the township that did not come in and get permits, so I don't know whether
Yeah.
you're talking about a group that came in and got permits and still went into the posted areas, or whether it was a group that came in without permits and just dropped them off, which, that does happen.
Yeah.
And I believe one of the citations we gave out was to one of those people. And as soon as we give a citation, I want you to know, we'll drive around the area for a while looking for others, because we know that's how they operate. So I really need to know.
Yeah, I guess.
I think our residents are becoming more aware that our process is, we'll issue permits, we'll put them on Facebook, so they know who it's been issued to. So we get a lot of calls from the residents, they're all on top of these illegal solicitors. Always the same companies, we have 2 or 3 that come in every year, they know the rules, but their managers just, I either don't inform them or have the permits, and they're supposed to have them on the clipboard, and they got them in their pocket.
Yeah, I guess I was just curious if other townships, what they're doing. In other words, when you sign the permit, it says, as you being the permit puller, so to speak, you're 100% responsible for anybody working for your organization that gets caught in this neighborhood. If it's 1 or 10, it's on you, not on the kids.
Well, we can add that to the rule. So what happens is when they come in, so the manager will come in, we require each person getting a permit. They're the one, they must report to the window so that we can match IDs up to their faces.
Yep,
And we can
yep.
issue the permit. And we tell everyone at the time, do not go into, unposted areas, whatnot. It is also on the back of the permit, and they sign the permit in front of us.
Got it.
So there's multiple ways that they're notified. It's just really a matter of our residents contacting us when they're just not sure and letting us know. Gotten a lot better over the years. But
Sure.
We still have issues periodically.
Any questions from the board or the audience regarding the peddling amendment?
I would make one suggestion that after, in that section G, in communities or on properties posted against solicitation,
I would agree with that.
because some people don't have a HOA.
Correct.
And this is unfair, unfair to the chief, since I've had far more opportunity to weigh in on this. G lists the sanction, and then also in the code generally, the sanction being, if you do this, we take away your permit. But elsewhere in that particular ordinance, there's other sanctions that include penalties, including $100 or not more than $600 fees. Would an individual who is violating this just forfeit their license, or would they also be subject to the fees?
No, we cite them.
Yeah, they'd be subject to both.
Okay. So I'm just saying that this particular section of conduct describes not only conduct that is prohibited, but also prescribes the sanction, whereas the other ones just say, don't do this, don't do this, don't do that. Do you follow my logic?
Yeah, I think probably the penalty provision should go to 186.7. In other words, G should just say, the permit holder shall not solicit in communities or on properties posted against solicitation, and then move the violation provision to 186.7.
That way you could remove, you could revoke the permit from anyone who violated any of those elements of the code of conduct.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would agree with that as well. All right, any motions on that?
We wouldn't adopt this. This has to be advertised, correct?
Correct.
Just a motion to
advertise.
advertise, yep.
I'll make a motion to advertise the Chapter 186 peddling and solicitation amendment.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, public comment on non-agenda items.
Good morning.
Morning.
Jason Winners, here on behalf of the applicant, Three Creeks. Thank you for granting the extension and figuring that out. And also, the applicant would like the board's consent to have the Chester County Planning Commission to do an unofficial review of their sketch plan. And in order to do so, they would have to have it signed off by an official. And I wanted here just to make sure if you guys have an issue with that, or if you would be willing to sign that Act 247 referral.
Bear with me while I process this out loud here.
You know, you have like a 247 referral, like, they can do an unofficial review of the sketch plan for an
Right.
applicant, but they will not do so without concurrence by the municipality saying that they are aware that the applicant, you know, is.
Okay. So, but the current application is a conditional use application.
Correct. This is just for an exhibit. This is just for an unofficial review. Has nothing to do with this township, so to speak, but
Okay.
it is within the township.
I just want to be clear that we're all, we will refer preliminary and final applications to the county for Act 247 review.
Yes, that's not that. This is just an unofficial, it's, section if you want, I can. It's, at the very bottom, it just says, under the fine print, you know, informal reviews request to Chester County Planning Commission or from an applicant with the knowledge and written consent of the municipality. So that's why I'm here today, to ask for your consent.
So what's the thought process, that they'll hammer out most of the details in the preliminary?
Just
and-
to review, it's just an unofficial sketch, and just basically just provide comments and their input.
I want to point out one other administrative task, and that is when someone does do a preliminary or final application, their application is submitted with a check made payable to Chester County to do such a 247 review.
Yeah, this isn't a preliminary, this is not a preliminary application would go before you, or this is just an unofficial sketch plan has no charge.
Okay, so there is no fee schedule from the county for the type of review you're requesting? Because I would have said, my follow-up question would have been, is the applicant willing to pay the 247 review fees?
They would if it's necessary, sure.
If they are, you
Sure.
would, but there
Yeah,
probably
I'm
isn't.
just saying, it
Okay.
says no fee, but who knows, you know?
And if I may, it's a pending conditional use application, so I suggest that the board stay out of this decision because you're sitting in a quasi judicial capacity, and just leave it to Luke and the administration, and that they have their own attorney to make that determination.
So does that mean that I should just ask Luke?
I mean, you're asking.
I don't think
now.
it's the big, I'm not, no one's trying to like get one by anyone, it's just more reviews, that's all, so I was just coming here, I didn't wanna I was gonna email Luke, and I figured I would just do it the right way and come here and ask, that's all.
You know from your experience that the product you get back from a 247 review is it's on letterhead, it's one or two
It means
pages.
nothing, yeah, it's unofficial, it's not gonna be, it's not a whole weight.
They just provide comment.
Correct. It's just a chance for the applicant to sit down with the county as well to get their input for any changes that they see that, you know.
Understood.
I could provide you the paperwork and you can review it ahead of time.
Oh,
It's not- so you
we're
don't have to decide.
intimately familiar with 247 referrals. We are probably the county's leading refer.
Yeah, so I guess the ask today would be the board making an exception for the applicant to deal directly with staff and handle it accordingly. And I'm okay with that, if the board's okay with
I'm
that.
okay with that.
All right, so you,
Okay, thank you, guys.
thank you.
And I just want to say thank you, and I want to tell Matt before that the restoration looks really good, at the park, so.
Okay, just a notice, the board, on the agenda, it says that there were no executive sessions held prior to this meeting. The board happened to be here 10 minutes early this morning, so we have an executive session scheduled for immediately following the meeting, but we actually took advantage of the 10 minutes prior to the morning meeting to discuss legal and personnel matters, and will continue as stated, following directly after today's meeting for an additional executive session follow-up. Do I have a motion?
I'm sorry, friendly amendment to your announcement that the session that will follow this may also include a discussion of real estate matters.
Understood. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you, everybody.